All right, I thought I would give you my review of the Shining Elite 3D. I had it in the office. First of all, apologize for the delay. I went out to the AAID and I had to do a workshop on full digital workflow with the AAID. And we also I did a main podium presentation on remote anchorage implants, so a surgical lecture. Main podium, we closed it out on Saturday. Had a bunch of business meetings and whatnot as well. So a little bit of a delay getting this out there, but I'll tell you, I had the Shining Elite 3D in the office, what you see here, for 3 days. Voxel Dental, who has been tasked with selling it, has said, they didn't want to sell it without knowing if it really worked, and they want to know what kind of troubles they might get if they sold it. So good on a company for being, for having the reputation, to stand behind what they sell and sell good stuff. So anyway, we had it in the office, 3 surgeries. I'll tell you, it completely miserably failed to finish the procedure in all 3 surgeries. We could not get through the workflow. Specifically, one of the main points was there's a spot where you have to scan, do your quote soft tissue scan, and you have to scan in the mouth with the photogrammetry scan bodies in place, and the camera could not get they could not stitch it, they could not get it. The computer actually crashed on us several times. We checked our specs on our computer. We had the processor that they recommended. We had a better video graphics card than they recommended, and it simply failed to do the procedure at the time of surgery. Couldn't navigate it. Now, I did my own digital workflow on all 3 patients beforehand. By the way, my digital workflow took 15 minutes, 10-15 minutes tops, to do tuple scan or iCam scan. Both are good. Remember, we were the company that first beta tested tuple for you and found accuracy under 10 microns. So we are using iCam and tuple with photogrammetry. And as we did this last week, and then I do a simple triangulation method with my Atlantic Implant Institute markers. We've got those for sale for the palate and for the mandible. But so I finished my workflow in 10 or 15 minutes, went on to the Shining, where we fumbled for more than an hour on every case and could not navigate through the surgery to finish it. Now, I went to the AAID, my colleague goes to the Shining booth and says, hey, we had a problem, we couldn't finish the surgery, it failed miserably, couldn't get there, 0% done. And the response was, yeah, we know it doesn't work there. We're working on a workaround on the problem, we're working on it. And I'm gonna tell you, this company is already behind the 8 ball with me, because they blitzed social media hard 2 or 3 months ago saying that they have a product that works, and when in fact that they know that it doesn't work at time of surgery. And they knew it. Everyone at the Shining booth knew it. So, reputable company. I mean, shame on you guys selling something, knowing you have problems with it, and it doesn't, you haven't fixed your problems and you're selling it and telling everybody how great it is. So, shame on you. Now, I will say, from an intraoral scanner standpoint, very large lens, very fast rate of capture for the preoperative scan. And also, what can I say? We have not been able to test the deviation on this yet, so stand by for that. We're supposed to get it back this next week or 2, and we're going to do our own deviation studies. So that's coming. Now, I have a couple of concerns about the dominoes. The dominoes, one, you cannot remove the screw. It's a little bit of a concern on infection control and how to clean those. Now, I told a couple doctors this in person at the AAID, and they were like, infection control, whatever. You know what? I mean, if it's not important to you, whatever, I can't convince you, but it's important to keep things clean, keep your equipment clean. But you can't remove the screw, you can't clean that. Maybe minor issue. But 2, they recommend that you torque these scan bodies in at 15 Newton centimeters, whereas like iCam and tuple, it's finger tight. Okay, why would it be finger tight? Because you don't want to deform the screw. If you have to put a torque wrench on a screw, you will deform the screw. Now, the Shining representatives say that their screw doesn't deform. They say their screw doesn't deform. Okay, You've completely changed all biomaterials of screws and metals. You have a metal, I don't know where it's found, on the planet of Krypton or something, and it's got some properties that are super human, super, terrestrial, above this earth. They're not of this planet. I get it. But in my mind, once you torque a screw, the second time you torque it, there will be less accuracy. And I think what you're going to see is where you torque this thing 10 times and you're losing accuracy, and eventually you get so much deformity that it just plummets in deviation. So, and then they say you can use them up to 100 times. I mean, you torque that screw 2 or 3 times, or God forbid 30 or 80, what's it going to do? So I've got some real concerns about the accuracy of this, not just the accuracy on your first use, and what is the cross-arch deviation on your first use, but what is the cross-arch deviation after you've torqued that screw to 15 Newton centimeters? After you've torqued it 9 or 99 times, what kind of accuracy are you going to pick up from that? Because you got this long scan body, and it's going to turn, and it's not going to be totally passive on your MUA at some point in time after a certain number of torques. Cross-arch deviation is a real thing. Got into a little argument with somebody that was a Shining representative on Facebook who, on a group page, you may have seen it, who said, hey, there is no such thing as cross-arch deviation. Shame on you. There is no such thing as cross-arch deviation. So I think this company has been very quick to launch. Again, a couple benefits, couple of good things I'll say. Probably a very fast acquisition for the intraoral scanner. Very fast acquisition for the intraoral scanner in your pre-op situation. And I think there might be a use for this product in phase 2 procedures. So if your ridge is fully healed and all you're doing is prosthetic conversion, you want to take a final scan, okay, not a bloody field. I know I've got a couple of friends who are strong advocates for this system, but all they do is pros. So if surgery is done somewhere else and at your clinic, you're just, 12, 16, whatever, how many months later you're doing final revisions, you might find a use for this, but we're going to get back to you on the deviation and the accuracy of this system. Okay, so I think it's promising, but it ain't there yet. It's just frankly not there yet. Will not navigate surgical procedures. Worried about infection control, worried about torquing that screw. I'm worried about cross-arch deviation. We're going to test that in the next week or two, and I'll get back to you. Okay, but if you need an intraoral scanner, fine, but I don't know. I'm not even sure on that because I have to check the deviation. I'll tell you about intraoral scanners. I've scanned them. Still, Trios is your gold standard. 5, we use 5s. I think your 3 is still good. Your Trios 3, 4, and 5. Also tested Allied Star, and you can get an awesome full arch intraoral scanner from Allied Star. So that's my take on intraoral scanners. So again, I'm sorry for the delay. I'm sorry we took a while to get this out there, but it was necessary for me to really collect my thoughts and get through a couple other lectures at the AAID. All right, guys. Peace out. DM for details. Make your comments. Feel free. You know me. I'm not bought and paid for. I'm not going to I'm not going to review a product and get paid for it and post a review. I'm going to give you the God's honest truth. I know I've seen a couple people say that this thing is, the best thing since sliced bread. I question their pocketbooks and their bank accounts. I question their integrity, and I question their scientific method and their ability to really put a instrument to the test, or question, did they actually put it to the test before they posted their reviews? Again, failed surgery, 3 surgeries, couldn't get through the workflow. Completely failed. Deviation studies to come. If you want a prosthetic revision phase 2 machine, maybe it might work for you, but still deviation studies to come. Until then, tuple, iCam for photogrammetry, Trios, Allied Star for intraoral scanners. And again, it's hard to find one machine to do 2 things. Use the correct tools that you want to do the job correctly. Okay, guys, that's my full review. I will, be available for comment. You can message me, and I look forward to hearing from you. All right, peace out. Have a great rest of your Sunday.